I don't have a head. Good morning, Samarkand. We're very happy to have you here with us to participate in our panel about digital connectivity, keeping up with the connectivity from Marrakech to Samarkand. Whether you're here in the room today or you're watching us online, including in London, where 7 a.m. you may be having your porridge and coffee, we're very happy that you are with us. We'll focus in the next hour talking about technology, connectivity, but also inclusion, benefits of being connected, and also the risks. And all of our panel is built around Road to Samarkand. It is an important way and path, not only that was in the past, but also currently. We had our first digital panel in Morocco, in Marrakech, and I wanted to welcome you to meet one of the young entrepreneurs that I will tell you about their digital journey. Let's wait for the video.
My name is Hasna Al-Alami and I'm the founding manager of Hindia, our organic skincare brand based in Morocco. Once I had my first products between my hands, the most efficient way to get it into the market was to build an e-commerce platform and to try to reach my final user through a digital marketing campaign. Digital connectivity means being able to take our product from this tiny village in the south of Morocco to our most loyal customers in Paris, London, or New York. So digital connectivity means that sky is the limit. It means that we live in a world of possibilities where all the existing brands, no matter where they come from, are allowed to deliver their message all over the world. Digital connectivity means equality because it allows us all to have access to the same tools and to be part of the same game. So may the best win.
That was really fascinating, and you can feel that passion for connectivity. Before I welcome first guest to our digital talk show here on the stage, two remarks that I wanted to mention to you. One is around Slido, so you'll be able to ask us questions. There are codes behind the chairs that you can scan with your phone and get into the Slido deck. There's also a translation provided here. You can use your headphones to listen to different languages that we are providing it here. And on that note, let me, with absolute pleasure, welcome Yasmin Bedir, President of MasterCard of Eastern Europe Division. Please welcome Yasmin on stage with a round of applause. Hi, Yasmin. We are really, really thrilled and happy to have you here with us. MasterCard is all about connectivity. But before we go to the business side, I really wanted to hear from you. What are you passionate about? Because, you know, that passion came here in the video. So I was wondering what's your perspective.
That video is very well, you know, that like just spot on, because I'm very passionate about women's support, women inclusive economy. So just this is very important for me. So it's my passion.
That's great, and I think that's really, really inspiring. Thinking about MasterCard, I mean, for me, MasterCard is all about digital, whether that's payment and beyond. So really wanted to understand, and for you to tell our audience here in the room and online, what does connectivity mean for MasterCard?
Okay. When you think of connectivity, just I was thinking yesterday, last night also, like just look at us, like just how many, you know, that phones do you have? That like maybe not one, I have three. in my pocket. So just like, if you think of it, we're all connected in a world, and we are talking about Internet of Things, everything is connected. But if you think of that like digital connectivity, this is a topic, it's a very important topic. Not for sustainable development of our economies, but for the democratization of the payments. This is very important because inclusive is what we all talk about, and equality is very important for us. And as MasterCard, we believe in we connect people and we connect economies. This is important for a better future. So I believe that like just SMEs, that like are the backbones of the economy. And this is really important for us that like as MasterCard, we believe that the SMEs are the profound, that the tools of the economies, and the 90% of the overall business in the world is done by SMEs. This is very striking. 90% of the business is done by SMEs. I think this is one of the subjects that we are really passionate about, and we are committed to give support to all the SMEs around the world. And when you look into this geography, actually, the numbers are more striking. I can tell you that 1.3 million active micro and macro enterprises across the Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, and they generate 3 out of 4 business. So just this is very striking. There's a big necessity. It's not a necessity. It's an important, that like this tool that like we need to give support to all the SMEs. And they are the key drivers of the economic growth, innovation, and employment. And look at the pandemic. What happened with the pandemic? We were all locked in. So just like, what happened with the SMEs? Have you ever thought about that, like just who was the most vulnerable in the economy, that like SMEs, and most also women? So I believe that like pandemic amplified, by global pandemic, this has been further amplified, and it's the proof for the need of the digital connectivity. And as we further move into the digital age, we must ensure that no one is left behind. I can tell you that like MasterCard is not only for financial institutions. We're working with non-FIs, non-financial institutions, fintech, startups, women, entrepreneurship, like just there are many individuals also. This is not a necessity, but it's an economical justice. All sectors, regardless of the size and location, should have the opportunity to participate in digital connectivity. It's not an only access, but building infrastructure, enhancing digital skills, ensuring data security and financial inclusion. These 4 elements are very important for us. That's why means that this is a 10% increase in digitalization. This is a 2% reduction in unemployment rate. I want to tell this because you know what, this is very striking. Everybody believes that like digitalization, connectivity, or people will lose jobs. You know that on the contrary, this is a decrease, it's a reduction in unemployment rate. This is very important. And to support all those initiatives, MasterCard has developed a wide range of solutions like fintech accelerator programs, startpad programs, simplify commerce, tap on phone technology, where your phone, you can do commerce everywhere. So cybersecurity tools. So all those tools that like the digital connectivity will enable SMEs that enhancing customer experience, streamlining operations, driving innovation, and protect business. We believe in better future can only build on a solid foundation with equal access to connectivity.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I think the numbers that you brought here, they really speak about the power of digital connectivity, but indeed, it only works if you think about the skills that will be able to use it. And when we think about power of digitalization, we continue our road to Samarkand, and we stopped in Marrakech before where we thought about how actually we can connect with our clients and customers. But that's not all the story for enterprises. They also have to be digitally resilient. So let's see the story of Stanislav.
After the war started, we were forced to utilize our digital potential in full. We worked non-stop from the second day of invasion. Several team members were outside of Ukraine, connecting from Germany, Czech Republic, Moldova, and our IT proved they made a great setup. This helped us to maintain business continuity and stay afloat during a very challenging time. Digital connectivity is so important to resilience because our clients, many of whom are abroad, need their translations or other linguistic services, irrespective of bombing and power outages in our country. This is why we had no other choice but to arrange the proper connectivity. Last year, we opened the office in Warsaw, and one of the functions of local managers was to back up Ukrainian team in case of force majeures. Connectivity made us stronger and more flexible in the face of challenges of disruptions.
Big round of applause for Stanislav, who is here in the room with us. Very happy that we have you here. Digital and resilience is at heart of all of us, but it's really at heart of the European Union. I would like to welcome on stage Miriam Ferran, Deputy Director General of International Partnerships. Welcome. Big round of applause. Miriam, I started with asking Jasmine about what she's passionate about, so let me follow the question to you as well.
Well, I'm passionate about traveling, so you can imagine how thrilled I am to be in Samarkand today for my first visit to Uzbekistan, and I'm really grateful to EBRD and to the government of Uzbekistan for making this event here, because this is really combining my work passion with my personal one.
That's wonderful, and we all had hopefully a chance to see a bit of this amazing country, which is fascinating. Moving to the digital connectivity, it is at heart of the EU, and I was really wondering if you could tell us a little bit more how you see this and how you see connectivity, not only within the EU, but also with the outside regions.
Yeah. Well, for us, connectivity is clearly make it or break it event for sustainable development in the whole world for our generation. And this is why the EU is really investing both within its borders and with its partners all around the world in digital connectivity. And we just adopted last year a sustainable connectivity strategy, of which digital connectivity is a key element. This strategy is named Global Gateway. And through this strategy, we aim at supporting all our partners in the world to access open and secure connectivity, digitalization, based on a human-centric approach. And I would very much insist on those words, because what we do with this global gateway strategy is not only focus on hard infrastructure, we do, and the objective is for the European Union to support the partners with the, of course, the help of the private sector in investing in hard infrastructure, from submarine cables to territorial broadband or satellite solutions. But we go far beyond. And what we are working with our partners is all the enabling environment that make digitalization universal, inclusive, and secure. Mm-hmm. And this, if I refer to the example we just had, is also for us a key parameter of digital sovereignty of our partners. For that, we work. We want to maximize our impact, so we work in full partnership, and partnership applies first and foremost to ourselves. So we work, as we call it, in a Team Europe approach. So joining forces between the European institutions, our member states, their national development banks, and the European Investment Bank. So having a maximizing firepower to support our partners. And we work, of course, together with the private sector. And we see that in digitalization, the role of the private sector is particularly important. But there are also some elements, if we want to speak of inclusive, and you insisted on inclusive and leaving no one left behind, there are also elements where public support is needed. And this we address in our support, in particular when we speak of digital skills, helping training the workforce to be able to use those solutions in a meaningful way. We use this, we need also public support to access the most remote areas or the most vulnerable people. And this is where we have digital skills, but we also have solutions that allow to have access, broadband access to places where economically this might not be rentable. Mm-hmm. So we have all this context. We work a lot with our government partners on security, and security is the enabler of digital sovereignty. We work on all human rights standards that make use of the internet secure also for the people in terms not only preventing cyber attacks or ensuring cybersecurity, but also making sure that data protection universal standards are respected. So we have this comprehensive offer, and of course we have a clear priority. We make digitalization as a clear priority of our intervention in Central Asia, be it on a bilateral basis with the national government, but even more importantly, we are developing a large program which we call a Team Europe initiative with all our internal partners on digitalization in Central Asia, which aims at addressing the divide in the region. Central Asia is one of the least connected, digitally connected regions in the world. And so we aim at supporting the region, all the countries in a regional context to ensure universality everywhere in the region. But of course, we complement those interventions by specific support to the government. And for instance, we have a budget support operation in Kyrgyzstan going on for 30 million euros, where we address in particular all this enabling environment. And we work a lot with our member states, so we have components where we can provide technical expertise to the governments directly, what we call twinning. And in the case of Kyrgyzstan, we have experts from several member states, Estonia, Latvia, or Italy, working together with the government to help support find the most secure and inclusive solutions.
Thank you. I think you really well provided all the benefits, but mentioned the element of cybersecurity, which I think it's important to all of us here, and we'll chat about it later. But EU Global Gateway and thinking about the future, I think, is a fantastic segue to our next video, which is all about what's happening tomorrow.
Digital connectivity ասելով ես հիշում եմ մեր երկրորդ կուրսի դասերը, որ COVID էր ու մենք on-line էինք միանում Zoom-ով դասերին, on-line տնայիններ էինք անում, on-line սովորում էինք, on-line պատասխանում էինք, բարձր գնահատականներ էինք ստանում, բայց այդ դասերից դուրս առօրյա կյանքում էլ շատ ենք օգտագործում on-line շփումը, digital connectivity։ Օրինակ զանգելով տատիին վիդեո քոլով, չէ, որովհետև պետք է միշտ կապը պահել, բայց ասելով որպես չկա։ Վերջ։
Իմ կարծիքով digital connectivity-ն դա միջոց է, որ մենք կարող ենք ապնվել երկրի մի կետից մինչև մյուս կետը։ Օրինակ ես գրվում եմ իմ գերոջ հետ Facebook-ով, որպեսզի տեսնենք մի կետ եւ գնանք երկուսով թումով։
Digital connectivity-ն ես հասկանում եմ այսպես, որ մարդիկ on-line իրար հետ շփվում են մի երկրից մյուս երկիր եւ ես ինքս օգտվում եմ դրանից իմ հարազատների, բարեկամների հետ on-line շփվում եմ եւ դա շատ լավ է ինձ համար։
TUMO Center is based in Yerevan in Armenia, where our next annual meeting will be happening, and you're all very much welcome there. And this video makes me think those kids are learning there how to code. They are 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. That was probably close to the age where I first saw a computer, so the world is moving forward. And on that note, let me invite here on stage Abdullah Kukharov, who is leading the IT Park of Uzbekistan as the Deputy Director of the park, and big round of applause. And also has a similar center here for youngsters to learn how to be more digital. So Abdullah, I really wanted to hear from you, why are you as a country doing this initiative and what it is that is going to yield?
Yeah, thank you everyone. And the first I would like to say about passion. Yeah, my passion is IT education. My dream is that 10% of school graduates will start their work after graduation in IT. It means, for example, this year, 700,000 people graduating the schools. 70,000 people will start their job in IT. It's my dream. And my passion, I'll work every day for this. And
that's
also,
great.
It's our IT park, our ministry, it's our mission.
I think that sounds fantastic, and it very well connects to your day-to-day job that you must love. So really happy to hear a bit more about that.
Yeah. And for us, digital connectivity is a connect people for education. we are connected all schools in Uzbekistan, our ministry, and as a tumor center, we have the same center in Uzbekistan. It's working by the School 42 model. It's about 80,000 square meters. We prepared a very well good place, and more than 2,000 youngsters can working and can educating at IT. Additionally, just imagine, we have the platform 1 million Uzbek coders. At this platform, more than 2.4 million youngsters registered at this platform, and about 1.2 million youngsters finished courses. It's unbelievable.
That sounds really interesting. And also, I read somewhere recently that for the recent graduates, they will have on average 7 jobs, but 5 of those jobs are not yet created. So I think that mindset of innovation technology and bringing it for young entrepreneurs here in IT is really important. So does this mean that Uzbekistan would like to become an IT hub for the region?
Yep, sure. It's our goal to becoming IT hub in Central Asia and also this region.
Fantastic. And talking about IT, I'm going to move to Bernard Fauser, a managing director of HP Hewlett-Packard. Please welcome him on the stage. Big round of applause. Bernard, well, let's start with the passion.
Yeah, my passion is nature, and being in this region here, it's amazing. So we started our journey beginning of the week in Almaty, travel over Tashkent to the place here, and it's amazing to see this amazing landscape. And that leads me to the next, to the next topic. It's all about sustainability. To prevent this nature and looking forward with the growth we see in the world, I think we need to do everything also from an industry point of view to prevent that one. And therefore also the aim, and that's close to my heart, talking about sustainability, also looking forward in the way how we are providing our solution in this direction to prevent this kind of a nature, not only for the things I love, to do sports, going skiing, doing biking, going hiking in an amazing landscape like you have in this region here, but also for keeping this for our lives in the future, because we have only one world, and that's what all is about it. And I saw on the way here the solar plant things here, the power plants being built up, and also see first electrical vehicles in the region here, so going in the right direction. But it's also about how we are supporting this move into the future, and that goes seamlessly in the link what mentioned before, because our sustainability strategy at HP is not only building sustainable products, looking on the carbon footprint and going carbon neutrality, but it's also about the second pillar, how we are working in our supply chain of having a kind of digital human rights, and also how we are treating our supplier. And last but not least, and that goes to my previous speaker here, how we are increasing digital equity, because this is really key, and I love to hear what you mentioned before, and also the examples we saw, not only on education, on small, medium enterprises, and about the entrepreneurship of this lady from Morocco, reaching out with her products in the world, but also supporting people to have access to digital devices, and that's what we're doing in that one. But I have to say, and that's now leading to my topic also here, we talk about security. No opportunity is coming without a risk. And knowing that having access to digitalization given by a broader network, and what we see here in this kind of area, is that when we are starting into a network like this, you are leapfrogging. You are always on the latest technology compared to the mature countries, and giving access to digital technology. But this comes with a risk, because mostly the risk is starting on the end customer side, on the end user who is sitting in front of his device. Rather, it's a smartphone, which nearly everybody has at the moment, but also on the devices. So the way to protect, also with the opportunity from the risk management, and we heard about, like your companies are doing it, having a secure digital payment is enabling the opportunities, but also how you preventing yourself getting in malicious threats. And as I have to say, 97% is being done by human error. So clicking on something where you can trust and treating you and linking you into something, it's really something we are working on, preventing that one with security technology in our products and preventing the user going into that one, and that starts on the endpoint. And the other point, what I would like to speak out, very glad to hear it, investments into the IT empowerment. You mentioned it at 10% on your side. You want to have people educated, students educated going into that one. That leads into the next thing. We are missing worldwide 3.5 million of IT specialists going after cybersecurity, and this is a big opportunity also for people getting the education into that one and reaching up to here. So this is really close to my heart.
Thank you very much for this, and I think this topic on cybersecurity and pressing a link, I'm sure many of us thought a couple of times before they press a link, and hopefully none of us pressed the wrong one, but thankfully there are many solutions to help us if we do. Moving on to the road to Samarkand. So we traveled from Marrakech, we went to Kyiv and Warsaw, we stopped in Yerevan in Armenia, and we are finally arriving here in Uzbekistan. Let's play the video.
Интернет, Facebook мне очень помогает, потому что так получилось, так сложилось, что внук у меня в Канаде, племянница у меня в Америке, братишка младший, любимый, на Филиппинах работает, а один сын у меня сейчас на Украине уже лет 10, как он там вот проживает. И получается, что я со всеми на связи, и каждый день они в курсе, как я, что я. И я знаю, что у них все хорошо. От этого жить легче. Я думаю, были бы одни переживания, потому что дети, вот вы видели, дети близкие на расстоянии. Сейчас в любую минуту я могу связаться и с детьми, и со своими друзьями, и со всем миром, и быть в курсе, где, что, как. Интересного в науке, в жизни, в политике. И ни от чего от этого отказываться не хочу.
Aren't we all connected with the world? Big round of applause for Takira for amazing video. And talking about mobile connectivity, we couldn't have a better guest with us than Koji Kurushima, CEO of Mobicom, Mongolian mobile operator. Please give a round of applause for Koji. Welcome on the stage.
Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about technology and how to be connected with the world. But you can have the best smartphone, the best phone, the best computer, but it's not going to work without the skills. We spoke a little bit about it, but I wanted to hear how do you think users can benefit from increased connectivity and catch up with the skills element to it?
Yes, so first of all, before starting my conversation, that I'm a Japanese working in a Mongolian telecom company. And as you may have, the image of Japan is a very high-tech country with lots of connectivity. On the other hand, it was also referred that Mongolia is a very big country with very small population of only 3.4 million, which means that from a private sector point of view, it's very difficult to establish full connectivity because of this profitability and so on. So my passion is honestly to try to make Mongolia even maybe better than Japan, because I think every country has an opportunity, every country has a possibility. So it may take a while, but I hope that I can contribute to that development. So in the perspective of a connectivity, that in Mongolia, before COVID, of course, there were operators who were trying to improve the connectivity throughout the nation. We had 2G, we had 3G, and we started 4G in 2016. But as I mentioned, because of this return of investment point of view, it's not really easy to establish connectivity throughout the nation immediately. But once COVID started to take into place, I think it's happened to every country around the world that you cannot go to school. You cannot ask your staff to come to office, which means that the way we were doing business, the way we were doing lifestyle need to be changed. You cannot go to school, but how you get education. You cannot ask your employees to come to office and how you provide business continuity. So in that perspective, connectivity became much more essential compared to before COVID. Rather, it's what I first of all think. And then also, because I think in the past days, maybe even Mongolia, you compare the capital city with the countryside city. There are lots of difficulties to run a business in the countryside, which means that people don't want it to be connected. They were very much satisfied doing local business in their own area, which they did not see the outside world. But because of COVID, and they needed the connectivity even to run a business in their local area, somehow people sort of understood the necessity of connectivity and the opportunity of connectivity. And then after that, what we also realized is that there were local startups who were interested to do business using the connectivity, like fintech, edge tech, health tech. All these different kinds of startups started to consider that, oh, maybe there's an opportunity to start a new business rather than doing my local business. And then through connectivity, the advantages, I think it was also shown on the video, that you can not just connect in your domestic territory. You can connect to the outside world. You can even do business outside of Mongolia, China, Russia, STAN countries, and even maybe Japan. So I think digital connectivity has significantly played a role to try to enhance the capability of the economic development after COVID.
Thank you very much for this. I think that's a very important element of, and we actually brought all of those around the digital connectivity, whether that's the hardware, the software, the risk, sustainability, the skills, and becoming global. I wanted to introduce you then to our special guest that is here with us. It's not a human, it's not a computer, but should be with us here on the screen. Hi, hello ChatGPT. We all heard about you. You're
Hello,
here with us.
everyone. My name is ChatGPT, and this avatar is powered by DID. I am an artificial intelligence language model trained by OpenAI, based on the GPT 3.5 architecture. I am excited to be here today to discuss digital connectivity in EBRD's countries of operation and share my knowledge on this important topic. As an artificial intelligence language model, I don't have feelings in the traditional sense, but I am functioning normally and ready to answer any questions you may have.
That sounds great. I wanted to ask you about digital connectivity and challenges in the region and how development banks like EBRD could support and solve them.
Certainly, I'd be happy to provide an overview of the challenges facing EBRD's countries of operation in terms of digital connectivity. One of the main challenges is the lack of infrastructure such as reliable electricity and internet access to support digital connectivity. Another challenge is the high cost of digital connectivity, including internet access and mobile devices, that can be prohibitively expensive. This can prevent people from fully benefiting from the opportunities provided by digital connectivity. In addition, there are also challenges related to digital literacy and skills. Many people in EBRD's countries of operation may not have the necessary skills and knowledge to fully utilize digital technologies, limiting their ability to participate in the digital economy and take advantage of the benefits provided by digital connectivity.
Thank you. You did a great summary of what we discussed at the panel. But I'm just wondering what questions you may have to our panelists.
Great question. Here is a question that you could ask your panel. How can digital connectivity promote growth, development, and job creation in EBRD's countries of operation?
Miriam, I think that question is for you.
Well, in many respects, I would say. First, well, we saw the first example in terms of increasing trade, connectivity via trade, and thereby creating a much wider market and so generating economic activity. The fact that, as it was mentioned, I think you mentioned that 5 out of 7 new jobs don't yet exist. The digitalization is creating a new world where new competencies are required. And when you speak of new competencies, you develop certain skills, so you need to train teachers, you need to have all the human development aspects going around. So a lot of activities. You also have the link between digital transition and green transition. So a lot of activities are targeting research and innovation with the objective not only to go 1 mile further, but also to mitigate the impact, the environmental impact that digital solutions can have. And in that respect, we are working a lot on Earth observation, on green data centers. So many new activities that do generate opportunities, be they on the standard commercial basis, as we saw the Moroccan girl, or in creating completely new activities.
Absolutely, I think it's really important. I'm looking at the panelists, if any of you would like to add a bit more to the question.
Yeah, one more. I think next year you don't need speakers.
Thank you for saying that one.
I still hope we are going to be able to travel to Yerevan and Armenia. It's such a beautiful country, and you, Bernard, were talking about nature, and I think nature there is also beautiful. But thinking about that and switching more to technologies, what are, Bernard, in your view, the promising technologies or approaches to expand digital connectivity?
That's a good one. That's really a good one, and thank you. I would have asked the same question, do we need in the future sitting on a panel like this or let them talk to each other? First of all, I think AI is an amazing journey. I never saw a technology in the last common centuries that it so massively speed up. So when we think about where we've been in November and where we last year and where we are right now, I think none of the topics I have in mind in the past been massively discussed, like artificial intelligence, and also how it grew up. And this is one, I think, from a risk, but also from a great opportunity. And I think this is, I'm more on the opportunistic side and see this is a technology which will lead us into another dimension in the way we are doing business in all areas, not only business, but also how we are behaving and acting on a personal basis. But maybe going back to the technology, I think for this kind of environment we are talking right now, the access to digital devices is key. And first of all, we heard about the cost also from the avatar here. This is something for sure we are looking into. Having the ability to get devices that we are deploying into that one, into the area of the economy here. And the other one is for sure, and that comes close with it, how we are going to be able to support it from a financial point of view. Because what we see right now is, I think having the micro business access to financial liquidity and building up their business plans, it's second to none. It's not only in the education area, access to digital equipment, but also for the small and medium businesses, which we heard about. It's here massively, and that comes with payment methodologies. It's coming with network access, and it comes for sure also supporting their business plan and growing their business. Rather, it's farming. It is online shop, and that's the third element. The technologies which I see coming, and for sure. Not only what we see in other areas, the Moroccan lady talked about it, how to have access to online, because this is expanding your world and getting your products, your solutions across your, let's say, region as within your closer area. So this is key for us.
Yeah. And I think it is. I'm wondering if any one of you would like to speak on AI with more, or we are happy to move on to other topics. On that note, let's move to Koji. Again, wanted to talk a little bit about the risk and challenges on expanding the digital connectivity, and more importantly, how they can be minimized.
Yes, and first of all, because network infrastructure always has an investment necessary to establish the networks, it's always about how much return we can get. And in that perspective, of course, at the early stages, shifting from voice calls to digital, you access to internet, maybe you watch YouTube, you access to Facebook, and you have lots of entertainment. But the usage of this data usage will be somewhat limited because we only live 24/7, and then there's a limitation on accessing to internet. So from the mobile operator perspective, what kind of additional activity that can be done on the internet is very important for us, because more different purpose to use the internet, more usage of the customer, even from the individual, also from the enterprise, will come in. Means that more return we have, we can invest more. So that's the first aspect that I'm looking at. On the other hand, I think many of the Central Asian countries has a large terrestrial difficulties compared to the other countries. How we try to connect this coverage seamlessly without less cost. So of course there is I think worldwide there's a topic about this low orbit satellite, Starlink and other satellite companies. Of course that kind of cost measure is going to be reduced in the future. There is a high possibility that this connectivity throughout the nation can be established in a click. So that's what I'm sort of looking at. On the other hand, connectivity, as it was mentioned, that it provides capability to access to the open internet, open world. You can access to something you don't have access today. But on the other hand, that's something we are not familiar, which means that we need to be able to distinguish what's right and what's wrong, what's the appropriate things to access, can you trust the other side of the internet? So I think these kind of how to develop the capability of the individual and also the enterprise also has to play a strong role how people use a network.
Absolutely, and I think the key word that you mentioned there is people, and I think that's something that we'll talk a lot with Jasmine on people and beyond, because digital only makes sense when we think about inclusion, and I think that inclusion element is important for all of us here, whether we are public, private sector, and it is really important for MasterCard. So how can digital connectivity promote gender equality and empower marginalized communities?
Thank you. That's very dear to my heart, actually, this topic. But I would like to share my observation that, like ChatGPT, the profile was women. Look at the chatbots. The names of the chatbots, they're all women. So have you ever realized that, like, just we're talking about women all the time, that we're putting for women profiles, chatbots, we're naming like Alexa. Like, I have a very funny story about it, that I have Alexa at my home, and my husband always says, what was this lady in our home? What's the name of the lady? Like, so it's just like, we're always making jokes, but they're all women. This is really interesting. MasterCard is a technology company. We all talk about digital connectivity, access, also like just, and we are providing the technology for this connectivity and the access to financial inclusion. But let me give you another number, because we love numbers. We are a data company. Almost 1 billion people in the world now, they don't have ID. 1 billion people. They don't have an ID, and majority of them are women. This is very striking, I think, that like if you don't have an ID, you don't have any rights, you don't have any access to any financial tools. This is very important for us. That's why we are very committed to financial inclusion, financial literacy, but also on top of it, women are the most vulnerable segment. So just I believe that we need to work on women. Why also I'm very dear to work with women? Because if you touch one woman, you touch 4 people. This is very important. Women raise your kids. Women touch people. Women share. So let's talk about women and women literacy, women financial inclusion. We're committed to also 50 million, that SMEs and to support them. But also we're committed to support 25 million of them are women entrepreneurs. So this is very, very important. We're working with governments on the women entrepreneurships, also women financial inclusion. One example I can give that I'm Turkish also, like just from the Turkey, that like Turkish Social Security Agency, we were working with government for a financial literacy program. And we reach out more than 100,000 women financial literacy education, because digital connectivity is an access, is a door opening for financial literacy. One anecdote I would like to share from that is that one of the sessions I was there, one of the ladies actually, she's a clinic lady, and we were talking about the social rights and also financial inclusion. All of a sudden she stood up and she started saying that, look, I've never heard of my rights, I've never heard of this, and this is the first time I'm hearing. I'm going home and I'll share this with my husband. And we were all just, that all of a sudden, that was very interesting for us. So just like, that's very great that like just making people that accessible, also enabling them for, that to do more. This was really good. For Girls for Tech, for example, this is another initiative that since 2014 that we have been supporting. This is for young girls to choose a career in STEM, that science, technology, engineering, and maths, the paths. So these are very successful examples, and in many countries, especially also in Central Asia, that we are having many programs also in Kazakhstan and some other, also Uzbekistan, we want to do the same. But women needs to be inclusive. So no one left behind, especially none of the women should be left behind.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really important message that you deliver to all of us, and it is also at the big heart of EBRD. I see Barbara, our Director of Economic Inclusion and Gender Economic Inclusion there, so we have a special department that's making sure all of our work is inclusive. But I'm wondering, Abdullah, how many women come and join the IT parks that you are managing here in Uzbekistan?
Yeah, I agree with you that as much as possible, the women should be in IT. If we go back to the few years, it was only 2-3% women, but now it's about 7-10%. It's women involving in IT.
I think that's a great trajectory and the change, and hopefully we'll see even better percentage next year. Again, I wanted to ask you to start asking us questions by just scanning the QR code that is in front of you on your seats. I see we have already first question here on the screen. Address it to you, Koji. How your experience and lessons learned from Mongolia actually could apply to Uzbekistan.
Okay, thank you for the question. So I'm not really super familiar with the Uzbekistan situation, so what I would just share with what's happened in Mongolia. As I mentioned, Mongolia did not have a good coverage until a couple years ago, and then because of COVID, we started expanding coverage. And meantime, economy of Mongolia was not that stable, and there were also like a new technology like cryptocurrency. So people wanted to really earn money, and they jumped on this cryptocurrency, and at the end there was a lot of scam, and then a lot of people lost fortune. So this is also that cryptocurrency can also become an opportunity, but also it can become a threat. So how to educate citizens to really understand what technology can do is, for me, something that maybe it can be implemented in Uzbekistan. So what we are now trying to do is that we're trying to work with the governmental agency of Mongolia to try to provide more digital literacy education service, especially to children and also to their parents. Because in a country where the technology has evolved gradually, parents have an experience of using technology. So they know what's good, what's wrong, and they also maybe have some bad experience using technology. But in Mongolia, because it's a leapfrog and suddenly the technology has evolved, parents cannot educate their kids how to use technology properly. So this is maybe something that, with the capability, how to make the user side understand the benefit and also the disadvantage of the technology, I think is very important for maybe Uzbekistan as well.
Absolutely, and I think that message came across on every aspect of digital and connectivity that we were discussing here. I don't see any more questions on the screen from panelists, but I'm wondering if any one of you here, instead of using the technology, would like to also raise your hand and ask a question here in the room.
Jacek?
There is a question in the second row on the left. If you just wait 1 second, we're going to bring the mic to you. Please introduce yourself and ask the question to our panelists.
Good day, everyone. My name is Kamula Azimova. I'm from British Management University and expert counsel at Women and Girls Empowered program in Uzbekistan. Welcome to Uzbekistan. Thank you for interesting discussion. So I used to work in the industry with the businesses, but I, let's say, switched my professional career to the education because I see the need and the universities are the real bridge between the industry, government, and let's say future workforce. And you were talking a lot how you support the government and the businesses with issues of digital connectivity. But as you know, our students, like their future generations, the future leaders who will be working in the government, in the businesses, in the companies, especially, they had, let's say, a very huge lack of access to the education and knowledge due to COVID with online learning and etc. So if you could please kindly share what kind of practices you already have in your companies where you help higher education institutions, like not the government, but higher education, how you can reach out to the students and how you can help them with being more prepared to the world of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Great question. I know Bernard raised his hand first, and then we're going to go to Jasmine.
Thank you for this question. So HP has a program which is called HP Live. So this is something which is funded by our HP Foundation. And here we are going into this digital equities section. And we are providing courses, especially for higher educated people, to get access to building a business plan, building knowledge about economy, building knowledge about other things to get this access to a knowledge. And this is for free. It's web-based. And we are offering that one, especially into this area, to give access to such kind of an education, which we see highly important to have this kind of foundation, also looking forward not only for equity between genders, but also having the possibility that you get self-educated and get your business running and be supported on that one, stepping into that area. And especially during this geopolitical stuff, we see this one spreading out also in other areas and in other countries, also by languages. So we're having more and more available on this one. But to you.
We do have many programs. Actually, I mentioned about the Girls for Tech, but I believe that two things also: mentoring and role modeling for this, especially for women, that lack of access, but just how they can access more, how they could be more inclusive. We have many programs all around the world, but I saw also we have Rafal here, my Kazakhstan country manager. And Rafal, 2 words about what you're doing about the university, that how we are working, because Rafal is a great role model for that, and we're working at the universities in Kazakhstan. It's an example from the geography.
Thank you for that, and I will probably use also the occasion later to ask the question, having the mic. But I mean, even today morning, for example, so I started the day at 7 o'clock because there was a breakfast with SMEs. Something like 10 plus SMEs joined, and always happy to share. So as Yasmin mentioned, a bit of mentoring, coaching, but rather sharing, it's super useful. And at the same time, really, there were SMEs from different industries. Horeca, actually the telco, let's say selling phones in this case, some other restoration and others. So certainly selling with SMEs one part. Looking at the, call it our life cycle, so certainly kids, this Girls for Tech, it's actually the Kids for Tech, certain focus on girls to even empower them, very useful. Universities, exactly. So we do, I mean, right now we will be also starting the internship program, super useful. I mean, MasterCard logo, pretty good brand. So if the young people can edit the logo into their CVs, into their profiles, it gives them amazing leverage. And this is almost like a request to any company, open the internship programs in the country, because especially here, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, gives Uzbekistan gives enormous possibilities as well. We have this weekend, I'm coming back to Kazakhstan, we have a top talent program as well, literally this weekend over the whole week. And then you continue with your workers, with your people. So just a few examples.
Thank you. And you had a question. It will be probably the last question because my Apple Watch is telling me it's time to stand.
So maybe a bit of different type of question, because as Yasmin mentioned, literally engaging with and working with the ladies, with women, you actually impact in average probably 4 people. You are here 2, 4, 6. Probably the audience is a bit bigger. So in this case, what kind of message, request, task you would have from your side to the audience that we all can become the ambassadors? And Jacek, including you, so we can actually start your message to the audience, that we take it with us and populate further.
I was hoping as a moderator I can avoid answering questions, but now I'm getting my payback. I think for us as EBRD, digital is one of the 3 strategic priorities for the bank. So every single person across all what they do in the bank are thinking about digital. And for us, we look at it from 2 important sides. One is this digital dividend, which we spoke a lot about. How can we benefit from technology without forgetting about this digital divide part, right? How we make sure that we don't have people or businesses that are missing out, and that they are careful also how they use those technologies. And cybersecurity is becoming a story, and I think this is the message for us, to think about the benefits of digital, use it, but not to forget that there are also risks that we have to think about before we sometimes press enter. Jasmine, you want to go next?
I think that next 5 years will be we will see a bigger jump than the last decade, that because of the technology. We talk about many initiatives, we talk about the technology and everything, but I believe that's all our job, all our task is that to touch more people, to share more what we learned. This is our passion, all of us, and I know that as we are very fortunate that to be here. Thanks to also EBRD to give us this chance, and we are a proud sponsor of it. But I believe that it's all our task that to do more and we can do more. And technology enables us to give more. So let's give more and let's share more.
Well, from the European Union, I would like to insist on the human-centric approach and security aspect that the EU is really keen to support the governments of Central Asia, in particular, to use a certain type of internet which is open access, free for everybody, and in an environment which ensures protection of individual rights, of data, and ensures security. So having a word of caution also for the new generation, that there are risks embedded with the use of new technology, and that governments, with EU support, should be really looking at the overall environment that goes with digitalization.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I have one suggestion. You explained about HP program. I think if we put something to realize, let's think about the localization these programs for Uzbek youngsters, and that Uzbek youngsters can give access to also HP live programs.
I will have a look on that one for sure. Should I follow?
Absolutely.
Thank you on that one. So beside this HP Live opportunity, first of all, I would like to also express my biggest thank you to have the opportunity to speak with you. As I mentioned at the beginning, opportunity is coming with a risk, and therefore the access to digital technology from our point of view is always coming with the best security solution. That's what we are working for. As I mentioned at the beginning, most of the things happens on the end user side, on the endpoint, and therefore our products, regardless if they're going to education, to SMEs, to corporates, to publics, to big, smaller enterprises, we are aiming for building the highest security level within our products, because as you mentioned at the beginning, it is not like walking around the street and you feel, oh, it's a little bit dangerous. This becomes different if you are in a virtual environment. Who can you trust, and where you click, it's driven by the end user, and therefore we are trying to provide the most secured solutions by the end user with our devices and giving access to the internet.
Thank you. Koji?
Okay. What I think is that connectivity connects people, of course. It eliminates distance, it eliminates time. But full dependency on connectivity sometimes can be dangerous. Because we're humans, we think different, we cannot just always trust the machines. We always need to have this human-to-human communication once in a while. So connectivity can give you advantages, but I think that full dependency on connectivity can also be dangerous.
Thank you very much. So before we close the panel, I wanted to give a couple of messages as well to you. So firstly, hopefully next year, we will all see each other in Yerevan in Armenia. So you're very much welcome there, and I'm sure we'll be talking digital even more. Secondly, our guest here, ChatGPT, we did pre-record it, so it was not streamed live just because of the connectivity issue. But let's see what's going to happen next year. And finally, I would really, really ask you to give a huge analog applause to our amazing panelists here. Thank you so much. Thank you.